Hey everyone, I'm back with another video, and this time I'm gonna be reviewing this controller here. I made an unboxing video of this controller, and I was pretty excited to try it out and see what other fuss was about. But it's not quite what I expected or wanted, really. But we'll get to that. First, let's just get over the basics. Let's go over the basics here real quick. So the feel of the controller, how does it feel? Is it cheap feeling, or does it have any weight to it? Yeah, so the controller is actually, it feels pretty good in the hand. It doesn't, it doesn't feel like a cheap plastic. It doesn't feel cheap. It's the build quality is pretty good, pretty decent. It has a decent heft to it, like decent weight to it, so it doesn't feel hollow. So overall feel of it, it's pretty good. And then when we flip it over here, we got some back buttons and we got some trigger stops here. They turn the triggers into like a mouse click, which is pretty awesome if you're playing an FPS. It does have motors inside. It vibrates whenever you press the trigger. It vibrates in the actual trigger here, which is pretty cool. I like that. It also has gyro as well, although I'm not sure how good the gyro is because I didn't test that. And yeah, this is not, and I did mention that this wasn't gonna be a proper review in the unboxing. And yeah, because I'm not really going over latency and showing all those graphs or anything like that. Like I don't know much about those things. It's just kind of from my perspective, a regular controller user, and I'm just gonna tell you what I think and what it feels to me. Okay, so. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, you just have the back buttons and the trigger stops. So these back buttons right here, they're the placement is really good. Like there's no issue when you pressing that when you're playing. It's really intuitive and seamless. So I like that. This middle ones here though, not so much. You really gotta like extend your finger all the way back here like this to be able to, it's hard to show it, but it's just not as comfortable. So now how do the buttons feel? So the D-pad, it feels interesting. I'm not used to this kind of D-pad. It seems to be using mouse buttons or mechanical switches, you would call them. I like the clicky sound of it. But I don't know, the overall feel, I'm not too sure about that. I mean, it feels like sometimes it gets, like, I don't know, like you miss some clicks, like it gets stuck, but it's really just me. Okay, and then the sticks, yeah, they do click in. Everything has a pretty clicky sound. I do like that, and the face buttons are also mouse buttons, which I also like, because it has a shorter actuation time here. These, I'm not sure what these are for, but they're extra buttons. I would assume if you're playing like a fighting game, having these two extra buttons here would be really cool. But yeah, here you can change modes. You can change it so that it is like the dongle, USB dongle that it comes with, Bluetooth, or Switch. You can pair this with your Switch console. I recommend just sticking with unless you have a Switch, you can switch it to that mode. But if you just don't use it on PC, I recommend using the dongle or wired, because I don't know much about latency or anything like that, but I am very sensitive to input lag. So whenever I noticed that whenever I turned it to Bluetooth, it wasn't as like precise as on the dongle. So there's that to note. Okay, and then we have the bumpers here. And the bumpers, I don't like the way they feel. Because, I don't know, they feel kind of cheap and hollow, like cheap plastic. And it's actually, the bumpers are the only part of this controller that actually don't feel like premium, So I don't like it. Doesn't have any weight to it. So, no, they're not very good at all. Let me see, the stick dead zone, forgot to mention that, the dead zone, it's pretty good. It's not as good as the PlayStation 5 controller. Not at all. But it's way better than this, for sure. But anyway, yeah, so Dead Zone are pretty good, but they're not, I've seen better. Okay, now let me show you the main attraction here for this controller. And that is these rings over here. So these rings, they are tension rings. You can adjust the thumbstick tension by turning them clock or counterclockwise. And it works for both of them. So if you like your sticks a little loosey, then you can loosen the tension. If you like them a little tighter, harder to pull, then you can tighten the tension here. Okay. So this is the main attraction here, the main feature on this controller, and it's great. I really like it. It is really awesome. I can live without it. Like it's not something that I need necessarily. But it is really cool. The main reason why I bought the controller was actually because of, all the reviews and recommendations I saw. And really, I care more about the back buttons back here than I do this. If I had to give this up over the back buttons, I would give this up. So, because it is neat, but like, regular tension, the tension that most controllers have works just fine for me, you know what I mean? But this is really cool. Okay, so now the main issue with this controller. For me, it's a deal breaker, really. It really is a deal breaker. And it may not be for you. I think that most people are going to be fine with this, but me and people that are like me, probably not it's going to be a deal breaker. And what's the issue with the controller? I mean, everything seems fine, the buttons and everything. So what's the issue? Well, the issue is that to be able to use one of the main features of the controller, which is the back buttons, to be able to map inputs to these buttons here, you have to download an extra piece of software. And I don't like that. You know what I mean? I don't like that at all, because I don't want to have to go to a random website and then just download some executable onto my computer and run it to be able to use the features that I pay for, right? $80 for this thing. You know what I mean? $80 for this controller. And you can't use it without downloading the software. And the thing is that the software isn't even it's not even that easy to get either. You just go to their website, and I mean, at least the website I found, which had their domain, when I try to download the executable, it took me to like a Google Drive or something. I don't know. Regardless, it's unacceptable, because my point that I was gonna make, I bought this thing. It looks like a PS5 controller, but it's a PS4 controller knockoff. I bought this thing on Amazon for $23, and it has 2 back buttons, and I can map these buttons to any of the buttons here, or any button here in the controller, and I could do it using a combo key. You press toggle, and then you press the key, and then you press the back button or something like that. I don't remember, but you can do it. It allows you to remap the buttons just by using a combo key without using or needing any additional software. And I paid $23 for this thing, okay? And this thing, which is supposed to be a pro controller, and it's $80. And yes, I know $80 is the entry level for pro controllers, but still $80 is $80, man, And you're not gonna even have the ability to use a combo key and map the back buttons. You're forcing me to use a piece of software that I don't even know if I can trust, from a random Chinese website. No, absolutely not. Unacceptable. For me, that's unacceptable. This is $23, and I can do that. I can easily map the back buttons with a combo key without needing anything else. And this is $80, and I can't freaking do that. No, absolutely not. So this controller, the actual hardware itself, it's pretty cool. I really love the fact that you can adjust the tension on the sticks. But most controllers come with tension that most people are going to be fine with. And so you don't need this. So if you're trying to buy the controller just because of you want to be able to adjust the tension, If you really don't need that, if you're fine with just, regular tension, like in most controllers, then there's other things that are arguably better than this, right? If you want a controller that has back buttons, there's other controllers that let you do that are just as good as this and let you do that without you having to download an additional piece of software. Okay, so like the one thing that this controller has, right, that you would buy it for is this, right? And then the other main feature is this. I can't use the other main feature because I'm not going to download a random piece of software of the internet. So I'm only left with this. And this is not enough to make me give $80 for this thing. It just isn't. So it's a huge fumble. I don't know why they did it like this. It's a huge fumble. You know what I mean? Like, why are you forcing me to download a piece of software to unlock the functionality that I already pay for in this thing? You feel me? The final verdict for me is don't get it. If all you want, if this detention thing isn't a big deal for you and you really care about the extra buttons and stuff like that, then look elsewhere. Don't give them your money. You know what I mean? That's my 2 cents on the matter. Anyway, that's it for now. Bye.